Welcome, friends, to a daytime edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are two retired New York City police detectives, and if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, today we want to talk about a new photograph that was it was put to our attention by one of our great friends, subscribers, channel member, Dawn M. She sent in a photo to us late last night after we were live, and it might even have been earlier. But before we get into this photo, I want to talk to you guys about your support here. You guys are what makes this a great place, and Ed and I give thanks and praise to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, the folks who subscribe and leave us comments, also to the moderators. You guys are great. Mod Squad are unbelievable. Sleuthy is here. Sleuth is also a great contributor on the back end. Ed, how's it going today? Did you get some rest?
Yes, got some rest, running around doing things, taking care of some stuff here and there, and getting prepared to, finish my packing and ready to go overseas on Wednesday.
Up and away?
Yeah, well, my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. Okay. So
Jillian,
that's it.
Wait a minute. Let me just say thank you to Jillian for becoming a channel member and to all the folks that are checking in and saying hello to us. Before we get into this thing, I want to just give you guys credit because without you, this is nothing here. So you guys make this a great place, and we definitely appreciate each and every one of you. The photos, a lot of people send a lot of information, not just on this case, Ed, but every case that we cover, we have people who are following very closely, who are catching on to little details, and they send them into dutyron.com. Now, this young woman, Dawn, I'll just say Dawn M, because we have Dawn Marie is our moderator. It's not Dawn Marie. This is a Dawn M. I don't want to give her last name away and dox her, but she was so kind enough to reach out not only to me straight through dutyron.com, but she took it a step further. She mentioned to Ed, and she also mentioned on Instagram. So she sent me a DM on Instagram, sent me an email through the website, and contacted Ed Wallace. So she thought that this was a really important photo. And Ed,
I agree 100%. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you want to speed right up into it, but I want you to set it up before you show it. I see your
It's the anticipation. It's the anticipation.
Your finger is on the trigger, Ed, and that's not fair. I want you to set it up.
No finger on the trigger. No finger. You got safety first. Safety first.
All right. Let everybody know what you got here, Ed.
Okay. So, I mean, we've been going back and forth about these reddish brown stains, possible blood, as I would say in my reports, on the outside of the foundation. Okay. And, and based upon my training, education, and experience in years of looking at these things and seeing horrific crime scenes with blood, and training people on bloodstain pattern analysis, and listening to some of the things that were in the media where people were saying we have officers with 20 or 30 years of experience, and this is the most horrific bloody crime scene that they've seen, and blood is seeping through walls and so forth and so on. These things are out there. These statements are out there, and actual news reports of this are out there of these statements. And then there's this whole controversy about people saying it's not blood, it's heating oil, it's spray foam insulation, or any other number of things. Okay.
And people are continually talking about it still.
Absolutely talking about it. And I said earlier to Ron, and we're being mentioned, DutyRon, our show is being mentioned on other YouTube channels about this. And most recently there was a live today that we were mentioned. And I said I would bet 20 memberships to DutyRon if I am wrong, and that is not blood. In my opinion, I believe it is blood. Okay, from my years of experience. Now, can I be wrong? Absolutely. Okay, but I don't think so, and I'm pretty confident. Okay, now fast forward. I want everybody to remember Occam's razor. The simplest of explanations tends to be the truth. Okay. Now, I also found reports that are in newspapers and stating that our male victim was found on the floor of that bedroom.
Yes.
And we have now the sheriff's office here, the police agency here, has gone out of its way on its website to dispel a lot of rumors.
A lot.
But what's not dispelled is whether or not this is blood. If it was not blood, then they should have no problem dispelling it. And if he was not on the floor, as was reported in several newspapers, they should have no problem dispelling that. Okay. All right. But I understand they want to keep their cards close to the vest. So I'm not being critical of them for what they're dispelling and what they aren't. But fast forward, we get this photograph from one of our cyber sleuths, from our family here at our true crime family, and she spots something with her eagle eye, and she brings it to our attention. And I just got to show you this. So, Ron, without further ado, you got something
absolutely.
to say?
Yeah, no. And I want to say thank you to Dawn M, which is, these type of finds are important because it actually solidifies and it shows. So yeah, without further ado, Ed, go ahead, put that photo up. That's
okay. I'm going to show it. All right.
We'll go full screen with it when it gets up there.
Okay. Where the hell did it go? Hold on a second. I just don't want to. All right. Where's the dark one? Okay. Let me just shrink this down.
The suspense is killing me.
Hold on.
Ed had it. Look, everyone's saying, "Hurry!" Everyone's getting teased.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
Now everybody can see this, correct?
I can. I'm going to go full screen with it, Ed. Hold on.
Okay.
Full layout. Okay. Yes. You see that?
All right. So that's the stain in question. Okay. And then I'm just going to.
Can everybody in the chat see that well, just by a show of hands? Press a 1 in the chat if that is visible to you, Ed. You might, maybe want to pinch that and make it just a little bit bigger for
Well, we're going to zoom in the subsequent slides.
Okay, no problem. Look, Leo Girl is saying, hurry. Everybody's just waiting.
All right.
Good.
Okay, here's another view. And here's that close-up view. And there's our friend, John.
Yep, John, thank you for that.
Okay.
And in this view, Ed, you could see the blood dripping over the top of the pipe.
Right here.
Substance.
Right there, dripping over the top, and then it connects against the foundation lower down. Okay. Now, this is all classic blood, what we call riverlets of blood. Okay. And it's by gravity that it's coming down this foundation wall. Now, here's the new find, folks.
Okay, before you put it up, could you give a date on this photo, Ed?
It was posted on social media by by the victims. It's photos of 2 of the victims, and was posted on one of the victims' social media account. Okay, October 30th of this year, October 30th, 2022.
Okay. 2022. Okay.
All right. That's them. It looks like it's a Halloween party. And you see the wall over here, and there's no blood. Now, I'm going to show you some lightened. I lightened them up a little bit, and there's no blood.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah. Let me get to the one that's most. Okay, there. And then let me zoom in. Oh, sorry. I backed up here. What happened? I went a little too far. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Let me zoom in. No blood, folks. No stains.
So this is October 30th, The crime happened on November 13th, the early morning hours. So, just some 14 or so days prior, this is a photo of the outside, the exterior wall of that residence. The exact in this photo, unbeknownst obviously to them, they depicted the picture of the outside of this foundation of this exact location, which is right off the kitchen area, off of that patio area into that
Nothing
gravel.
here. Okay, nothing here. And you know, I was attacked several times in the comment sections in YouTube, and people saying that I'm not much of an architect or a crime scene investigator, this, that, and the other thing. And I keep telling them, go back to the original real estate site that posted this information. It tells you what kind of HVAC system is here. There is no oil here. There is no natural gas. Okay, it would be illegal to run a gas line or an oil line on the outside of the house like this. Okay, in most building codes, that would be illegal. Okay.
And Ed, let's clarify the bedroom that was right above that. That was allegedly where Xana and Ethan, which Ethan was found on the floor in that bedroom, is that's the bedroom that we're focused in on here, because people in the chat are asking which was the
Yes,
bedroom. It was
that
the
is
bedroom
correct.
with Xana and Ethan.
Yes, that is correct. Again, I don't know. This is the second story part here. This is they have the foundation coming out of the wall. The topography of the land is such that it's the second story of the house is in the backyard is the ground level, and it slopes downward to the front parking area where the first floor, or where people sometimes are calling basement, is at grade down there. So again, this is a concrete foundation. On top of the concrete foundation, you're going to have a sill plate. It's usually wood. Okay. Now, many people have gone away from termite shields, and they use pressure treated wood. So pressure treated wood would be bolted down to the foundation. Okay. And then the frame of the house would be built upon that. And then there would be a rigid exterior shell. Typically it's plywood or some type of particle board, things of that nature. And then that's wrapped. Then you have this cavity. Now, usually the cavity is filled with fiber insulation, or it could be blown insulation. And then on top of that cavity in the interior is sheetrock, okay, or gypsum. And that's screwed down, taped down, and sanded and painted and so forth. Now, if they did not seal that sill plate properly, if those floors were not level, if there was a body against this exterior wall that was bleeding out, that blood is going to follow gravity. It's going to seek the low points, and it will flow where it can flow.
Right.
Okay.
Ed, we made mention of this on the very first stream that we did. So it was like three live streams ago. You made mention of this about the gravity, and about if you take a ball and it's on a floor and it's uneven, it's going to roll to, the gravity is going to take it. It's the same concept here. Sue Mina, who's a channel member and a great friend, she sends in a question. Why is the blood still red though? Shouldn't it have become much darker? Now, 8 hours in between reporting and alleged that this incident occurred. So they said between 3 and 4 a.m. And now we have 8 hours later. This is a reporter that snapped these photos. I'm not sure of exactly which news outlet reported or snapped these photos of the exterior of the home, but they did see that and snap those photos. And I thought it was, it was a good catch for them to actually see that. But Ed, can you talk about the color of the blood, the length of period of time, and so forth?
Yeah, well, it's highly oxygenated, and so highly oxygenated blood is red. Now, you have in your body, you have arteries and you have veins. Okay.
Right.
Arteries contain oxygenated blood and veins do not. But you sever a vein and that blood comes out. Well, guess what? It gets oxygenated when it comes out. Okay. And now it's exposed to the air, and the hemoglobin sucks that oxygen in, and it's blood. And I believe it's blood. And what ends up happening, following gravity and following flow, the building is not sealed properly, usually over the exterior sheetrock, over the exterior plywood would be a tie-back wrapping. If they did not silicone or cork that sill plate, air and liquid are going to get in and out of here if it was not properly sealed correctly, and it doesn't appear so.
Right.
Now, that said, it's freezing out. It's 28 degrees or thereabouts, right? And so as that blood flow, now blood has a certain viscosity, and that viscosity can be affected by medications such as blood thinners or alcohol and so forth. And things, that could affect its viscosity. And as it's coming down this wall, it's going from body temperature, right? And then it's dropping onto this concrete wall, and that concrete wall is it's like running over an ice cube.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it is going to affect that blood. And so there you have it.
Interesting. I wanted to also say, Ed, some folks in the chat were saying, like, well, how do we know that Ethan was on the floor? We personally don't know that, but we are going based on reports. And I read 2 articles before we went live to re-verify.
Yes.
One was through Fox.
Yeah.
One was through Fox, and the other one was through a local news station there. I forgot the lettering. They used letters like KEWT or whatever. It was 2 separate sources. So
and
again,
I found the third source from the UK.
Okay.
And it said it in their articles that law enforcement sources said, and
Right.
no law enforcement never disputed any of this.
Yes, I want to just say thank you to Leo Girl for becoming a channel member. And Ed, can you try to attempt? You're a man of many languages. What is that screen name there? I can't make it out. But thank you, Chemtrail, for becoming a channel member. I think I just botched that really bad.
I'm not even going to attempt that one.
Thank you. And thank you for the super chats that we might have missed while we were talking about this. Again, our good friends all over Crime Time with DutyRon, you are the community. You guys are the voice of this channel. So when Dawn reached out to us several different ways, you could reach out to me or Ed on DutyRon.com, and all you got to do is put that in your browser, DutyRon.com. You could go to any of my social media. It's all one word, DutyRon. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. She sent the messages on Instagram, on the website, and by email. So we got 3 ways. Plus, she went a 4th way by Ed. How did she contact you, Ed, in the chat last night?
Yes, she contacted me in the chat, and she also said it in our chat during the live. But then she also wrote it in the
comments in the
comment section in YouTube, and I answered her and told her how to get the information to us.
Yes. So Angela Eng sends in a super chat. She sends $10. She says, if this house is constantly rented to the students, then the renovations are pretty shoddy. If they have you to fix it up year after year, that's why it leaks. College students aren't kind to their homes. They party a lot in it. There's a lot of kids in and out of there, right, Ed? So some of these places get knocked up pretty bad.
And I said this the other night too. These are rentals, okay? And this is all about making money. So it's like flipping a house. They put the least amount of money into the renovations, and then make it look good on the interior, because there's nothing you can do about the exterior. In my opinion, this is very ugly architecture, but that's besides the point. But they make it look really nice on the inside when it's really just smoke and mirrors, and they rent us out and get big bucks for the rental. And it's the same like on the many of the houses that I've seen people rent
right.
in certain beach areas or the Jersey Shore and so forth and so on. They know that they know that they're going to get these wild and crazy kids in there renting these things for the summer, or in this case, throwing huge college parties in these locations, and these places usually sustain a lot of damage and so forth.
Hey, what's interesting here is Richella Pranzo, that's Pete Pranzo's better half. Thank you, Lieutenant Pete and Richella, for being channel members and great friends. She's talking to Angela, and she said, I've said prior that I wonder if this house has proper permits to rent. I would just say this. I would say, in my best educated guess, yes, because it's the Idaho Property Management Company, and they have their own bona fide website. And they're the real estate management company who handles this property. I would have to say that if I was a guessing man or a betting man, I would say everything is on the up and up as far as the rental goes and safety features and so forth. The construction, that's obviously in question here, how well it is and how well it's sealed up. But like we said, when you put these things together, you just are, kind of just fixing them up, getting them ready for the next grouping of college students that come in. And I don't know how long they were here in this property. Maybe if someone could let us know down below in the comment section or at DutyRon.com, how long were they here? To my sleuths out there, let us know. A $10 super chat came in, or a super sticker from Sue Mina saying thank you to us. And then Leona Moore sends in a $5 super chat. She said, I just found out my sill plate is not sealed, and I'm in Utah. So there you have it, Ed.
Yeah. So in the heavy winter, hey, listen, folks, if you're ever building a house, if you ever, and I inspected a lot of houses when they were being built, and I have to stay on top of these contractors, because if you don't, they're going to cut corners. Anywhere they can save a dime and put a dime in their pocket, they're going to do it. Okay.
Right.
I designed and built a house that I'm currently have down in New Jersey with the contractor, and I would go down there and I would inspect the place, and I said, hey, you're going to fail this inspection, you're going to fail that inspection. And he said, oh, I've been building houses for 36 years. And I said, and you've probably been building them wrong for 36 years, because you're going to fail. And come back the next week.
He probably didn't like that, Ed.
Right. And I come back the next week, and there's the building inspection failure notice glued to the wall. And I said, I told you. I said, I told you. Yeah. I love it when people challenge me like that. And and I just sit back and wait. I'm trying to avoid these hassles, because when you get an inspection like that and you get a failure, well, that delays the construction. Yeah. Because absolutely. Now, and then you got to call them back, and it's just a pain in the ass. And
Ed, would you be kind enough to, when you're done, put both photos? Do you have a side by side, or could you just do swipe one to the next? Because there's some new people that are coming in, and I just want them to take a peek at it.
All right, let's see what I can do here.
Robert Vogel is here, and Joey Brooklyn's checking in. Thank you. I just want to say hello to some people while you're doing that.
All right. So remember, I don't know that I can do a side by side. Maybe I can open two windows, but let's see.
Yeah. Pineapple Slushy says the house will need to be burned down. I don't think that anybody's ever going to want to reside in that home with 4 people murdered inside it. That would be a difficult one.
I had a case in Staten Island where the son killed his parents and dismembered them, and I talked about it before. I was up to my ankles in blood. That house sold. And I said, I wouldn't touch that house, for all the money that, all the tea in China or whatever. I would not touch that house. You'd have to get an exorcist in there. I would bring every religion known to man in there to try to get the cursed house.
You couldn't pay me or give me the house for free to stay in there.
Okay. So there's this. All right. And I'll go back to the other. Okay.
Thank you, Ed.
Now, remember, right over here, all right, so this is part of the waterproofing for the foundation that goes under the grade, okay?
Right, that dark surface to the left.
And remember this crazy black tape here, okay?
Shoddy construction. What's DutyRon's email? Go on to DutyRon.com, and then you can
that's another thing. And then that's another thing. Let me back up. Somebody that was attacking me was saying this is copper. It's not copper. It's rusted metal, steel. And if you go to the end of the corner, you'll see these threaded elbows. Okay, and it's not a water line. In these temperatures, you wouldn't have an exterior water line.
No, it
Okay,
would freeze and
especially
bust.
uninsulated
It
copper.
would freeze.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, it would freeze. Yeah, it would freeze and bust.
Even if it was a hot water line, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me get into this lightened one here.
Lorna McKenzie brings up a good point. She says people often die at home, but they're not murdered. It's different. Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
Lorna.
right. And here's that waterproofing and no red.
Can you zoom in just a little bit more there, Ed?
Sure can.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. So
it gets blurry, but it's not there.
Yeah, no, it's just not there.
Posted on social media October 30th.
2022.
That's right.
All right. Well, again, I want to say thank you to Dawn M. And that's not to be confused with our moderator, Dawn Marie.
All right, I'm going to shut this down, Ron.
Thank you. Thanks. You know, there's so much more that will unfold in the days to come on this case. You know, investigators are working hard, and I heard and listened and read. I listened to it and I read reports that some of the forensics is starting to come back now. You know, we talk about geofencing, Wi-Fi, picking up Wi-Fi signals from that area. You know, geofencing is going to come into play. They probably have those warrants in effect. And geofencing, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's going to give you all of the phones that's active in a particular area at a certain time. So that will help. You know, even though it was early in the morning, there's not a lot of people using their phones. Most people are sleeping. But any and all activity of phones that are connected to particular particular Wi-Fi, cell towers, and things of that nature, they're going to be able to get a list of that and then slowly, methodically do the process of elimination. So it's going to be good. Did you put that up there on the?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to answer it out. I got it. All right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nomad. There's no gas here. If you look at the photographs and you look at the listing of the house in Zillow, it's all electric. The stove is all electric. There's no natural gas here. There's no liquid gas here. There's no propane, and there's no oil.
Yes. Let's say thank you to all the super chatters and the people who are sending in questions. And if you want to continue to ask questions, what Ed and I ask you to do is just leave us a comment down below. We will eventually get to it and check it. Thank you, Nomads, Kels, for that question. Ruth Bork, thank you for being a channel member, and you too have a good afternoon. There could have been a gas before and it was converted. It could have been gas before and it's converted. Anything's possible. We're going on basically the now. You know, we're going on the now and what's in front of us.
If it's a gas line, then it's going to be usually cast iron, threaded cast iron,
right,
or steel. But it wouldn't be allowed on the outside of the house. It has to be on the inside of the house. That would be a violation of most building codes that I'm aware of.
Right. You know, the investigators have a lot of work to do and a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. And there's going to be a lot of interviews and interrogations and interviews that lead to interrogations and that lead to other people. We got to give them the space and time to do what they have to do. And with the forensics lab, and Ed, you could talk on this, they have, through the FBI, they have such a massive amount of resources available to them. Whereas the Moscow Police Department, I corrected myself. I didn't say Moscow. The Moscow Police Department, they're doing the best job that they can. And I tip my cap to them because they're working tirelessly night and day on this case. You heard them speak. The captain said, our detectives, our officers are going to work straight through Thanksgiving. That means, people not, being with their families for Thanksgiving, and rightfully so. That's the job that they took. So we have to give them some space. We got to allow them to do what has to be done here. And let's not create extra work for them. Let's not, call in visions or dreams that you've had. We need them to work on real bona fide leads that could be brought in a court of law and tried and prosecuted. You can't try and prosecute somebody on visions and dreams. I'm sorry, friends. That is just, I'm just calling it as I see it. Vet Girl RWB sends in a photo, October 30th, posted, ? Incident occurred November 13th. Confused. Well, you shouldn't be confused because we're showing you that on October 30th, there was no drippings down of oil. People are saying that that's an oil line dripping down number 2 red dyed oil. And this disproves that that statement and that what people are running on. Ed, could you describe or explain what the first grade detective is?
You can do it, Ron.
Well, in the New York City Police Department, there's 3 levels of detectives. There's third grade detective, which I retired as. There's second grade, which is these second grades and third grades are promotions from third grade detectives. It's a specific expertise or special unit that detective is in, and it's promoted from within the department. So a supervisor or somebody in an executive position makes a decision to promote these detectives to a higher level. And most of the detectives, I would say, more than not, have great skills at what they're doing. There are some of these promotions that get done based on who people know, but I feel that to convey the message properly, it doesn't happen to an overwhelming amount of the detectives in the New York City Police Department, but most have skills like Ed has. He was an expert in his field, and he rose up in the ranks. It's the highest rank, the highest grade for the rank of detective. I hope I said that right, Ed.
Yeah. There were about roughly around, when I was on, 7,600 detectives in total. There's probably more now. And of them, about, say, 3,600 were second grade. And at any given time, there was like 120 first grade detectives. And so that was, how it typically broke down. And it's a raise. It's a pay scale too, because with overtime, I can make as much money as a captain without the supervisory headaches.
Right. And I always used to say to my great friends who were first grade detectives when they retired, you're retiring at lieutenant's pay, but if you get good overtime, you're at captain's. So it's, it has its perks. It's a promotion from within Huda, Unsolved Crimes. Good to see you. Thank you, Shannon, for being here. And like I said, again, this case is going to require lots and lots of man hours, and that's what we're talking about here. You got to give these guys and girls the space that they need. Ed, that room in Indonesia looks just like your room at home.
Okay, all right. Because I'm not in Indonesia, Chris, and you know that. Stop messing around. I know you have a sharp eye.
Yes, of course. All right, I think we covered it. 33 minutes. Ed, do you have anything else to put out to the troops before we wrap it up?
No, but I hope you appreciate what Dawn did here. And, it just goes to show, again, always keeping back in mind, Occam's razor. The simplest of explanations tends to be the truth. Okay. It wasn't there October 30th when it was posted, and the photo was taken the day before or something, if I remember correctly, or thereabouts. Okay, it wasn't there, and now it's there. Okay, after this bloody crime scene. All right, unless there's photos in between that time frame that we don't have, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because like I said yesterday or the day before, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Now, would I prefer to have a presumptive field test that's pointing me in that direction? Yes, 100%. Okay. Would I write in my report, even after a positive presumptive field test? I would write in my report when I'm submitting to the laboratory for analysis. I would write reddish brown stain, possible blood, presumptive test positive. And then they'll run with it from that point on and confirm what it is.
Yeah. And Inspired by Beauty said, is there any listening devices in that home? We have no idea because, again, we don't have access to the case file. but we would have to think and assume that there has to be, some type of device. A lot of people have those small Alexas. They have the Echo Dots. There's so many different things, and I'm hoping and praying that there is something inside that home. But at this point, right now, none of us have any of that access to any of that information. You got to read that because I can't see it. It's too small.
So, greeting from New Orleans, fairly new here. Question: have such mad respect for New York City police detectives. Has it ever been considered to train other police detectives in smaller areas like Moscow, Idaho, rather? Yes. I do train all over the nation. So I do forensic training. And back in the day when I ran the forensic science training program with Barbara Butcher at the New York City Medical Examiners, I flew thousands of death investigators into New York City for a bunch of 40-hour training courses on basic, advanced death investigations and bloodstain pattern analysis.
Outstanding. Hey, just want to also say too, again, if you guys are not yet subscribed to Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we are two retired New York City police detectives. Consider hitting that subscribe button. It's red and it's free. It's somewhere along the lower level of this of your YouTube studio. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all things social media, all one word, DutyRon. Heck, we're even on TikTok, unbeknownst to Ed. Well, Ed knows now. We're on TikTok against his best wishes.
Against my wishes.
We upload our short videos there. So if you want to see short snippets of what we do here, go over and follow us on TikTok and just put in the search bar DutyRon. Thank you for that. I appreciate everybody joining us here today. Jolene is checking in. She's one of our great friends, moderator, channel member. She runs a lot of great Facebook groups on all of these crimes that occur, and she shares a lot of our videos. So thank you to Jolene. She's traveling around seeing family. I hope she has safe travels wherever she is or wherever she's going. So thank you so much for everybody being here. We're going to close it up because Ed's having a fun time working the switchboard. We could do this all day, but I got to get back into work. So,
okay, for that question, that's the Chinese character "fuk." Okay, not to be confused with another word. Okay, and it means good luck.
Does that mean "fuck you" and "fuck me"?
No.
Fuk. Okay. And as I always like to end these, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially the families of these 4 victims. Sending them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. Thank you, everybody. Ed?
Folks, as usual, please be safe, be prepared, watch your 6.
Peace, guys.